that as we migrate into a new world when it comes to technology.
AI, when I hear that, obviously you're dealing with and navigating that as well. I think there were some reports you were at the White House recently because you're obviously trying to protect your own IP while you obviously move into this future. Was there a meeting at the White House about this? And if so, what were you discussing?
We did have a meeting at the White House with the president's AI team, and we were largely talking about issues related to intellectual property protection. But we also made a point of saying that Disney believes that AI will be an important part of our future. We're already using AI in every one of our businesses, and we believe that it will, over time, become an important part or important component of how our company operates. But it's also critical that as we migrate into a new world when it comes to technology, that we continue to respect the creative community, and also we continue to be mindful of the impact it could have on our intellectual property, which is essentially the core of our company and what we do and who we
what we know is in bull markets, usually there are these drawbacks, but the drawbacks historically have been 30% drawdowns, and these haven't been 30%. These have been more like 10, 15% drawdowns. And so what I think we're watching is a market that's maturing. Institutions are coming in. It's getting bigger. And so what you're starting to see is kind of muted volatility. And that means that people who are hoping Bitcoin is going to go to $400,000 or $500,000 in a bull market, this cycle is probably not going to happen, but also people who think that you're going to get, kind of 85, 90% drawdowns in the bear markets. That's probably not going to happen either. Okay, so I think that Bitcoin will definitely go to $1 million at some point in the future. I just think this cycle, right, it's very unlikely that it's going to go to $1 million. And so what is the floor? I don't know, right? What I do know is right now at $112,000, $113,000, it's pretty oversold. And so I would expect that you have two things lining up. You've got kind of the overselling of Bitcoin, and you're headed into kind of September, October, which is usually a pretty good time, especially if it is the year after a halving. But also, if you look at like the VIX seasonality chart, usually right about now, you'll start to see the VIX really start to kind of move upwards, and we get a lot more volatility. And so I just think that it's August. People are on vacation. They're tired. They're, not paying attention, and things kind of just draw down. And starting in September, we should see Bitcoin kind of come back alive again.
Because of what, though?
Well, I think there is kind of a simple thing of just like people are in front of their screens in September. They're not in front of their screen in August. And so people are buying and being more active. But also, I think that you've got a lot of speculation on a Fed interest rate cut. I think you've got a lot of the people who raised capital for these Bitcoin treasury companies that are going to start buying in kind of late August, early September. And then I also think that if people believe that the end of Q3 and the beginning of Q4 is a good time for Bitcoin, people start to act in a way that makes
the folks that are selling, you think are selling for what reason? And the reason I'm asking that is I've heard from a bunch of people who have actually sold some Bitcoin, moved it into Ethereum. That actually has been one trade for some folks. There's another trade among sort of folks who are interested in blockchain, but not necessarily Bitcoin per se, who've actually bought into Circle, for example, a publicly traded company that sells stablecoin, that it's a stablecoin business. Do you see people moving from one place to the other?
Well, some people are definitely doing it. I don't know if I would suggest people do that. The whole blockchain, not Bitcoin, is kind of like a 2016, 2017 viewpoint. I think that's been pretty much disproven that Bitcoin is the king. It's been the king. It's going to remain the king. But on top of that, I do think that there's a lot more opportunities for people to play this. And what you are getting is you're getting capital markets where people are optimizing for different things. Some people want yield. Some people want infrastructure. Some people want the actual underlying asset, Bitcoin itself. And so I think that you're going to get fracturing of capital, which again leads to that muted volatility.
Well, it's been 2 years in development. It is a public, first time a public entity has ever issued one of these coins. It's particularly important because it is the first dollar-backed, fully reserved stable token issued by a public entity. We want to be able to use it for any legal means. We feel that being issued from a state, it's all public. All of our commission meetings, the ones we've done over the last 2 years to establish this, have been in the open. The whole effort is open source. We have, actually, the day before yesterday, issued it, and it is available on Arbitrum, Avalanche Base, Ethereum, Optimism, Polygon, and Solana. So it'll be issued and redeemed at par. So $1 that you buy a stable token for from Wyoming, a frontier coin, you'll be able to retrieve that at $1. We have a 2% overage to cover it, and we have designed the whole system to be absolutely reliable and completely stable, which is why it's not commodity backed. It's backed by short-term treasuries and repos. It's designed to make sure that we can meet any of the requirements if anybody wants to redeem those dollars. It has an incredibly long tradition of being first. We were the first to do an LLC. We were the first to come up with what we call our Speedy Bank Special Purpose Depository Institutions, which is one reason why Kraken decided to relocate to Wyoming. A few years ago, we did distributed autonomous organizations, so-called DAOs, UNAs, and DUNAs. So Wyoming really has taken a lead on all of this tech, and we believe, yesterday we were at the SALT conference when we were announcing this and discussing it, that there is an appetite to have something that is in the digital sphere that is 100% dollar backed, 100% reserved, and I guess open. So if you want to know what the reserves are that are backing it, you can go to our website and see exactly what's there. There's nothing that is going to be sort of done in private on this. So we feel that it's entirely for the public's benefit, and it does support our kids. We'll be getting a certain amount of interest back from those short-term treasuries. That'll help educate the kids in Wyoming. The reason why we wanted to do it in Wyoming, let me be clear, we've had a real change in the attitudes of the two administrations that are between the Trump administration and the Biden administration. We wanted to make sure we had something that could be viable in any kind of regulatory scheme going forward. States have some sovereignty. There's an ability for us to be able to navigate in that space. Economic growth here, we export about 12 times the amount of energy that we import. We have a tremendous amount of interest for data centers and AI and all of that. There's been crypto mining that's been going on in Wyoming for a number of years. So we see this as an economic driver for us. In terms of adoption, it is also our desire to make sure that our banks have the access to being able to use this for settlement, and the transaction costs are de minimis. They're instantaneous, so there's a practical advantage to being able to use a stable token like the one Wyoming has just issued, our Frontier coin, and we believe it'll have an adoption. As I say, it is intended to have all the same uses that cash would. And we intend to be able to make it a valuable asset for banks operating in Wyoming to be able to handle, normal banking processes and normal banking procedures.
Welcome to the Crypto Teacher. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. And I come back with that video just to make you think. And make sure you join the Patrons. If you're not a part of the Patrons, make sure you're hitting the Cash App. Also, go like and follow the TikTok. More videos to come. And we have Disney on AI. Already using it in every part of the business. And guys, we know Disney and ESPN will control a big piece of the metaverse. And NFTs will definitely make their way back to nothing but digital IDs. And we have Bitcoin pulling back, and of course, it's a big topic in the mainstream media. But we know all assets go up and down, but we also know the narrative is for this digital economy to rise without the sheep having a clue. So anytime it's manipulated 30, 40,000 up, it's going to be coming down also by manipulation. And remember, the Crypto Teacher told you. And we have the governor of Wyoming being the first with a stable coin. And again, of course, backed by U.S. treasuries. And we know some big money in Wyoming and they're getting prepared for this fourth industrial revolution. But we have a lot of states that also are big when it comes to these data centers and also crypto mining, but they haven't turned to stable coins just yet. And remember, those stable coins are an avenue to universal basic income, that free money. Now remember, your life is an illusion and TV is your reality. We have CME Group teaming up with FanDuel. Yes, you heard that correct. The casino just keeps getting bigger. And remember what the crypto teacher told you a long time ago, that 60% of this economy is going to be based around gaming, and people are going to be sitting at home with free money. They're just going to hand it right back to them. Guys, we've seen this movie before. Remember, the C word was nothing but a simulation for this digital economy. It touched on every single sector, and then they also got a way to see how people would react. So when they bring on the metaverse and that free money, people will be happy to go in. And remember, the crypto teacher told you. And we have Fed Jerome Powell in the house in the morning. And he gets to get in and get out before the market can really react. But I don't see him touching on rate cuts. But I definitely see him saying the economy is doing well. And remember, the crypto teacher told you, he'll keep it simple. And we have Trump on DC crime. And guys, we know it's not that bad. We can think of plenty of other states that have high crime, but they don't need more police officers. They need jobs. And especially for these teenagers. It's an easy fix, but they don't want to fix it because crime pays. And remember, the crypto teacher told you. And speaking of crime, we have Trump going after Maduro. But we know the banks are the biggest what? I'll let you finish that. And remember, the crypto teacher told you. Because he knows. When it comes to the NWO, it's all planned out. You have a wonderful day.
Group partnering with FanDuel to launch a new way of betting on financial markets for as little as $1 a contract. Customers in America will be able to place yes or no wagers on market-related events from specific price levels in the S&P to economic indicators like the inflation rate and GDP and more. Joining us now for an exclusive conversation on this is CME Group CEO and Chairman Terry Duffy. Terry, do not worry. I will not ask you about the Cracker Barrel logo change, but I will ask you about what some call the gamification of markets. Why this move? Why FanDuel? Why now?
Well, Sally, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it very much. Why this move? Why now? I mean, I think the world is evolving. You've seen CME move more into the retail trade over the last several years. I've said to many of times to some of the panelists on your show tonight that I think retail is going to continue to grow. And for us to have a partner like FanDuel and be able to have 14 million accounts on day one, to have the ability to participate in CME's markets at their comfort level is really important, not only, I think, to CME, but to the financial services industry as a whole. We want to have educated people in our marketplace. This is a great way for them to do it. We are going to offer these auction-style markets throughout the day, probably 3-4 a day in different asset classes. We have such massive benefits to do so with FanDuel because we have our intellectual property products that nobody else has. Then we also have the biggest, deepest pools of liquidity for our market makers to create this. So we think it's a great way to move forward with FanDuel. I want to thank my friend and partner, Peter Jackson and Amy Howe. They did an amazing job of seeing through how this potential JV is going to be something very exciting for them. It's not a cannibalization play. I'm not becoming a casino, contrary to popular opinion. I didn't buy a casino. These are markets that will be offered to the general public, and we think is massively exciting of what it could do.
May come in. So if I want to bet that the unemployment rate is going to be 4.1%, I could bet on that, or do I bet it'll be above or below 4.1?
That's exactly what it is. It'll be set, And mostly, Brian, it will be on specific products that I outlined a moment ago, whether it's gold or anything else. So you'll set a price at a certain time, and then you'll have a window of opportunity to say, I believe it'll be above or below that, yes or no. You can bet as little as $1 or bet a lot more than that. And you can, I say bet, you can trade to do that, and you get paid based on whether you're correct or not, where that price closed at that moment in time.
I'm not sure that the market wants to hear something specific from Jay Powell. I really think it's more the other way around. I think Jay Powell has a bigger issue trying to read the markets. And if we look at today was a big day. Look at 2s and 10s on a 12-hour chart. At 9:45 Eastern, we had PMIs, and the PMIs were pretty good. The composite was solid, manufacturing really zoomed, service sector doing pretty well, and you could see how the charts moved up in yield there. And it isn't only that, it's anticipation, and I guess this may answer part of your question. A hawkish tone is what kind of the markets expect, because they're riding up into the speech tomorrow, 10 o'clock Eastern.
Never received so many phone calls thanking me for what we've done in Washington, D.C. from people that haven't gone to a restaurant literally in 4 years. And they said, you know, what you've done it's unprecedented, because what they said, it was just unsafe. We couldn't do it. We'd go out and you'd see the stories, you'd read the stories, you'd see all of the things that are happening. And they said, we couldn't stand it, sir. And now I take my wife and my kids to dinner. One of them said he's gone out 4 nights in a row, and he hadn't gone out for 4 years. So it's a great tribute to you. And when I look at you people, I understand why, because there's no games, right? We're not playing games. We're going to make it safe. And we're going to then go on to other places. But we're going to stay here for a while. We want to make this absolutely perfect. It's our capital. And I guess it used to be many years ago, say, but it's certainly not had a very good run. And you got to be strong, you got to be tough, you got to do your job. Whatever it takes to do your job, you got to do your job. But the crime numbers are way down. I'm looking at, you saw some of the stats, they just read them out to me inside, the numbers that we haven't seen here ever. And I think it's probably right now, to me, I feel very safe now, and I'm hearing people are very safe, but I know within 2 weeks it's going to be, Pam, it's going to be at a level that's even far superior.
Venezuela, and there's 4,000 Marines on board. Are you looking at possibility of boots on the ground there?
What I will say with respect to Venezuela, President Trump has been very clear and consistent. He's prepared to use every element of American power to stop drugs from flooding into our country and to bring those responsible to justice. The Maduro regime is not the legitimate government of Venezuela. It is a narco-terror cartel. In Maduro, it is the view of this administration, is not a legitimate president. He is a fugitive head of this cartel who has been indicted in the United States for trafficking drugs into the country.
Going to a different economy, and we're going to be learning more about that as we go. But clearly, we're learning that things can be done from remote locations. We're learning that technology can replace people even more than we thought.
We're not going back to the same economy. We're recovering, but to a different economy, and it'll be one that is more leveraged to technology. And I worry that that is going to make it even more difficult than it was for many workers.
In Silicon Valley, and my friends who work in technology know that what we did to the manufacturing workers, we are now going to do to the retail workers, the call center workers, the fast food workers, the truck drivers, and then even bookkeepers, accountants, insurance agents, lawyers, and on through the economy. So what happened to the manufacturing workers is a very clear sign.
And so we'll import Chinese-based CBDC technology. So it's going to be CBDC in a box provided to you by the People's Bank of China.
But every stock, every bond, every currency, every commodity, every piece of art, every private business, every piece of real estate will eventually be a token on a blockchain, an entry on a ledger, permanent and immutable. We will have truth instead of trust, and we will save over $7 trillion a year. 6 to 8% of global GDP is wasted by the friction of the trust industry that's necessary when you have dual entry accounting. With triple entry accounting, which is what a blockchain is, we get rid of all of that friction. It's a beautiful future.
like what you see in China and their social credit scoring systems, right? If we get identity wrong, it could be a tool to enslave humanity. And if we get it right, it could be a tool to liberate humanity. And as an American, I'm obviously rooting for the one that's on the side of freedom.
Bitcoin is an international asset. And also, I do believe the role of crypto is it's digitizing gold.
I actually believe this technology is going to be very important. Look at it. We have been part of the huge revolution in investing through ETFs. We believe that ETFs will be changing the whole way we invest. Many people still use it as a means, people are investing it for indexing. No, the majority of people who are putting money in in ETFs are active investors that are buying exposure. The entire bond market is being transformed as we talk right now. I believe the next generation for markets, the next generation for securities will be tokenization of securities. And if we could have that distributed ledger that we know every beneficial owner, every beneficial seller, we all have our code of who's buying, who's selling, instantaneous settlement. And think about it, it changes the whole ecosystem.
Chinese bank ICBC has been hit by a ransomware attack, and the U.S. Treasury market, as a result of that, has been disrupted. This, according to the Financial Times. We're getting at more right now with Bloomberg's Shonali Bassick. Shonali, what do we know?
Listen, we have the Financial Times now reporting that ICBC, one of China's largest banks here, was hit with a ransomware attack. And remember, they're a very significant intermediary in the Treasury market. The SIFMA has told its members that this has been part of the reason here that the system is kind of clogged up, if you will, during that auction that we saw a little bit before. The attack had prevented ICBC, according to the Financial Times, from settling Treasury trades on behalf of other market participants. A large executive at a major bank also telling the paper that such a large party on the fixed income clearing corp creates major concerns, potentially impacting the liquidity of Treasury markets.
Now, it was not just a poor auction. It was absolutely lousy, and when the dealers have to step in to save a treasury auction, that's a rare occurrence. And
Crypto Teacher and the New World Order book, plus the 3 kids books. It's time to re-educate. Also, new to cryptos, Coinbase, Bitrue, Binance. Do not forget book links and crypto links are in the description. The stock channel, guys. Don't forget to go like, subscribe, spread everywhere. You have your Kobo, your chip stocks, your banking, your gaming. While everybody's sitting at home, get home stocks, the Seaver, the biotech stocks. And while everybody's at home wishing they were still getting that free money, what are they doing? Drinking and smoking weed. Don't forget about those stocks, and you have a wonderful day. The most powerful person in the world is the storyteller. The storyteller sets the vision, values, and agenda of an entire generation to come. Steve Jobs. And guys, you know I truly believe in this. When you look at the New World Order, they're the storytellers. And that's the reason why I wrote my New World Order book. But guys, now it's time to change the current generation. And I wrote 3 kids books. You know I love the Trinity because I understand the power that's in it. So I have 3 books. We have an opportunity to change the generation, to educate, not just me, but I want to show you that I take action on a daily basis. And I want you to take action on a daily basis. Whether it's your job, whether it's in your community, we have an opportunity right now to educate the masses. I posted this on my Twitter account. Please share, but this is a short clip of the 3 books. There's going to be a clothing line and action figures. Please get these books for your kids, nephews, cousins, friends, so therefore we can start the re-education now. Because as we see, the 4th Industrial Revolution foundation is definitely here. Robots, algorithms, drones, taking humanity out the picture. We have to re-educate. But let's get into the video.
Part 1. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save the village. Part 2. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save New York from COVID Stories 3. Part 3. King Joshua and Grandma Tam goes to China.
It's mandatory to get part 1, part 2, and part 3 of this series. It's time to re-educate Generation Z.